Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar Podcast. I'm your host, Jacob Elyachar, the chief content producer and writer of jakestype.com. Now, if you're watching this conversation or listening to this conversation, please like the video, or if you're listening to it, please subscribe and give a 5-star rating. I really appreciate it. It is episode 90 of the podcast, and I'm here with a rising singer-songwriter. He is a Spotify verified artist. In 2020, his music was streamed 84,700 times. He has over 4,000 Instagram followers and 17,000 Facebook fans. Please help me welcome Kasey Yale.
Hey, thanks for having me, Jacob.
You're so welcome, Kasey. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to talk with me today. I really appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely.
All righty. So when did you first get interested in music? And how did that passion evolve into desire to pursue a career in the recording industry?
So it's funny. I was actually just talking to my grandma the other day. She was telling me when my great-grandpa actually was passing away, he was going into the ambulance, and I just came out and I started singing a hymnal song to him. And, apparently it touched him and everything. And as I grew up, I realized that I was able to help people when I sang to them. So that just kind of naturally, wanting to get with girls as I got older. I wanted to play guitar and look cool and all that. And so I just started writing these songs that helped me kind of vent. And then I found other people could resonate with them. And I realized that was kind of what I love to do.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. So who are your career role models and how do they influence your sound?
Career role models. Well, that's a good question. Because there's so many different people to have role models for, as far as, man, I'm so stuck. I got my favorite artists, but I'd say people that I'm watching as far as independent artist strategists are Russ, Chance the Rapper, this new guy, Dominic Fike. All these guys are like the top of the Spotify kings, if you will, where they're kind of just like making money hand over fist, having figured out and forged their own relationships.
I understand. This is pretty cool because actually I had Benny Freestyles, who's another rapper in the game. He actually mentioned Russ and how, so you're not the first artist that have mentioned him.
Right. Yeah, he put out a book. What's it called? It was something called like Get Out of Your Way or Get Out of Your Head. And he was just talking about how he did the strategy of just putting out a song a week, and he built up this vault, and then he just kept putting them out thinking one of these is going to get heard by the right person, and then they'll all get heard. And that's what happened.
Awesome. So what have been some of the challenges that you faced throughout your career, and how did you overcome these obstacles?
Well, in life in general, back in 2013, I faced a big challenge where I went through some mental health stuff actually for about 6 months. And so having gone through that wound up, it's kind of a hard thing to unpack. I don't know if you've heard my other podcast about it.
I haven't, Kasey. I apologize.
Oh, that's okay. I mean, I'm sure you don't listen to everyone's stuff. But to give you just the short of it real quick, it's going to sound wild when I say it real quick. Basically, I was kind of possessed for 6 months, and then I was healed from that. Right. I know.
Wow.
So that kind of rattled me, having gone through that experience. Now it's like thinking is a whole nother realm of reality for me, because I'm constantly questioning what's real, what's God-given, and what's confusion and what's trying to destroy me. And so you'll hear me talk about stuff like that in songs like Welcome to the War.
Wow. This is a first for my podcast. So Thank you for being first. And I admit that I deal with anxiety and depression. So mental health is, everyone should keep our guard up with that.
Right.
All right, so let's move on to something positive, such as your songs.
Yes.
All right, let's talk about In the Sound, because when I first listened to it, I heard shades of 21 Pilots, Stressed Out, and combined with Eminem's My Name Is. And can you describe my song to my audience?
Interesting. Okay, so yeah, In the Sound was at the time, I would have maybe written a better one now, but it was at the time my best love letter to old school hip hop, because I like rapping, but I also recognize that I'm not Kasey Yale the rapper. I'm Kasey Yale the singer, and I can also rap. And so just kind of stepping into that, it's like, well, great. Well, let me just pick a style of rap and just dedicate the song to this, and just let me just go with what I've learned from old school and show people what I know,
Awesome. And Gold, it's your most streamed song on Spotify. So why did Gold resonate so much with Spotify listeners?
I think Gold is a special song because I wrote what I needed to hear. And I just thought, okay, because for years, my first EP that I put out was called Identity. And it's all because I'm constantly preaching this message of you're more than what you do. You're more than what you've experienced. You're more than what people say that you are. Value and worth, that's a huge part of just me as an artist, and the message that I have for people is knowing your worth and knowing your value. And so Gold was just this thing where I wanted to say, all right, let's talk about how frustrated we are that, everyone seems to, everything just seems to fall apart. But yet let's also celebrate the fact that even though we have all these challenges and life can be this crazy, we're still supposed to shine as brightly as possible.
I totally agree. We all need to shine. We're all individuals.
Right.
And just like Zach's saying, we're all beautiful humans.
That's it. Excellence motivates. And while obviously we can't always be excellent all the time, when we are, I think it inspires other people too as well.
All right. So one of my favorite songs of yours is Last Day. It reminded me so much the first time I listened to Michael Posner's Cooler Than Me and Daniel Powter's Bad Day. And it is just because it reminded me so much of how they launched their careers. And I think Last Day did the same for what will probably do the same for you.
Well, thank you.
So can you please give Last Day's origin story to my audience?
Absolutely. So when David hit me up with David Sinclair Black is the producer on the song. And
guys, Kasey, sorry to interrupt. David is a really good producer. Very good. Probably a rising star that everyone needs to keep an eye on.
Fantastic. Yeah. Yeah. And when he hit me up and he asked, okay, well, do you want to build a beat? Do you want to, I've got these songs I've already written. And so I started going through his catalog, and I found this one, and it was just upbeat. And I was like, when I'm listening through a song, I always think, how does this make me feel? Not what can I say, how does this make me feel? Because based off that, that's whatever the story that should be built around it would be, So anyways, I'm listening to this thing, and I just start kind of humming, and I'm going, no, we can't go back to yesterday. And I just kept singing that. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, for every little thing we see along the way. And I was just thinking about how, I've been out here in LA for 10 years chasing this music career, been through relationships. There's friends that I don't talk to anymore. No fault of either of ours, just, things go. And that's kind of the point of this song, is that it's easy when everything sucks to say, this is all temporary. But when everything is on top, it's I think, wise thing to say, this is all temporary, so that we can always keep a constant expectation of what life is, not be based off the fluctuations of it.
I agree completely. And I think Last Day is a really good song. And I hope that people pick it up because I think people need to listen to it.
Thank you, Jacob.
Have you thought about Songland? Because with all these songs, Kasey, sure you could be welcomed into the Songland family because Shane, I've seen people like Anna Graceman and Father Dude have success and actually build something from their Songland experience. Have you thought about that before?
I haven't, but I'm definitely open to looking into it.
It's a really good show. Ryan Tedder, Shane McNally, Esther Dean, those guys do a wonderful job, and they have all these random singers come in. Like last season was BB Rexa, Ben Platt, Usher.
Oh, right.
So you should definitely try something like that out, especially if you're trying to with all these incredible songs.
Yeah, I am aware of the show. It's funny. Anything that's a major, like anytime someone's like, "Oh, go try for American Idol," or go try out for The Voice. For some reason in my head, it's a way more complicated thing than whatever other normal musical things you would do to promote yourself. Maybe that's just a hang up I need to get through. I don't know. But
I know I talked to a lot of people that do a lot of like reality television, especially like America's Got Talent.
uh,
And I've had and they've done a lot of, and that show has done a lot of wonders. And I think Songland, I hope it's in the season 3 because over the past 2 seasons, it's done really great. It's actually promote their artists through their songs.
And I've heard people have actually they've had their song picked and then it's gotten licensed and made more money than before the show, right?
Yes.
And that's kind of the point. That's awesome. Yeah.
Awesome. You also had the opportunity to perform at several events since the COVID-19 pandemic before. So what did it mean to perform in front of an audience again?
To perform in front of an audience every single time is something I'll never take for granted again. It used to be, I would, kind of be upset when there were only 5 or 10 people at a place. But it's the 5 of 500 rule. And what I've found is it's a gift to be able to give somebody a good performance and leave them with something that they'll remember.
Awesome. So I know this question may be a little tough, but however, have you thought about your top collaborators, singers, songwriters, producers, and how would they enhance your sound?
Like, who would I like to collaborate with?
Mm-hmm.
That is a good question. I mean, if I could have a dream record, just a dream record, I would have Tom York, Chino Moreno, Kendrick Lamar, Eminem, Saba, and Switchfoot all create a track together. So I'm all over the place with the genres that I like to dip into. So based on the record, that would be the collaborator that I would want to work on and work with,
Absolutely. If we're talking about it, I thought you were initially talking about one song. I'm like, wow, that would have been one epic track. But if you want to spread them out,
well, I mean, sure, I'll do collabs with all those named people.
it might be it could be like an All the Light situation.
An All the Light situation,
where back when Kanye did My Beautiful Dark Fantasy, he had Alicia Keys, he had Rihanna, he had John Legend, he had Sir Elton John, all those people on that track.
Right. That's right.
Mm-hmm. So let's wind this interview down. So what are some of your favorite social media platforms and why do they stand out?
Well, Instagram is definitely, you'll catch me on there the most. Facebook is my second favorite. As far as just social media, those are my two. Facebook to me is like going outside. So if you don't have Facebook, you basically live under a rock at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And Instagram is, going to the mall to hang out with everyone else.
I totally agree with those scenarios. But like, I know a lot of when I have my guests on here, sometimes they've said TikTok, and I'm like, how do you start with TikTok? Because I don't have a clue. Have you thought about TikTok, Casey?
I've now gone down the wormhole once with TikTok. I've like messed around with it a couple times, but I found myself a good half hour just looking at TikTok videos the other day, and I was like, okay, I get it. It's just quick. It's all quick.
Yeah, but like it's for me, it would take time to do that. But like there's a lot of other people that do it much better.
The TikTok videos?
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure it out because I put way too much into it, and then there's, little return.
I totally get that. That's why I'm sticking with Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
That's right.
All right. So if you had the opportunity to meet with aspiring musicians who are basically in the beginning of their career but want to advance to like be noticed or like to be like a Spotify verified artist, what advice would you share with them?
All right. Are you listening?
I am.
Get a notebook. I'm talking to all the people listening as well.
Okay.
You need to write this down.
Okay.
Find all the ways to make your money. As far as I understand right now, there's anywhere from 5 to 10 different things that you need to claim and track down in order to be fully paid for all of your work as a musician. We're talking publishing. We're talking 6 different types of royalties. We're talking collectives. So, guys, know your percentages. Know how much of a song you actually own. How much of it you actually participated in. Make sure you got your paperwork, and make sure that you go to Song Trust, and that you go to Sound Exchange, and that you go to a PRO like ASCAP or BMI. This is the most important stuff.
Kasey, you went so in depth with that answer. I'm so appreciative because some of the artists that have been on here have not given that kind of level of advice that you have.
No problem. I mean, it's just, I'm still working on it myself,
All right. So, Kasey, first of all, where can they hear your music and where can they find your music? And also, if they want to chat up with you on social media, where can they find you?
That's right. So you can find me on all social medias right there at The Official Yale. And as far as where you can listen to me, I'm on Spotify, Apple Music, and Gami, KKBox, pretty much any streaming platform. Just Google Kasey Yale or The Official Yale.
Awesome. Now, guys, to download more episodes of the Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar podcast, go to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Spreaker. Type in the Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar. Now, this is important. It's JACOB ELYACHAR podcast. So, Kasey, in 2020, I had a bunch of people come and visit me, such as Anna Graceman, Sons of Serendip, Voices of Service, Prince Poppycock, Andrew DeLeon, Father Dude. It was a great year for singers.
Yeah.
All right. So hopefully 2021 can be a great one. So also, are you on social media? Because I'm on social media too. Visit my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube page. All I got to do, type in Jacob Elyachar, JACOB ELYACHAR. And Kasey, I just want to let you know, I did review last day on my new music reviews and put you in my artist to watch.
And I believe I read that article, right? That was a fantastic article. Thank you.
You're so welcome. So guys, if you want to read that review and more articles and more interviews, head to jake-take.com. Once again, jake-take.com. Kasey, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to talk with me. And you are on a roll, my friend. I predict we're going to have more conversations in the future.
The pleasure's all mine, Jacob. Looking forward to it.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you so much for listening. And until next time, have a great one.